Hello, everyone, and welcome to Churchy Chats with the Church Girl. I am so excited about our second week, and he said, she said, and tonight is going to be fun. I have some amazing panelists on tonight, and before we get into that, I just want to introduce myself. If this is your first time here, my name is Alicia Wiley. I am the owner and creator of A Church Girl, which is a clothing line and a lifestyle brand that seeks to inspire and uplift everyone we have the privilege of connecting with. If you are on this broadcast, be ready to chime in, be ready to join the conversation. Also share this broadcast with others that you think would enjoy it. Okay, so tonight can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now.
All
Now we
right.
hear
Praise
you.
the Lord. Sorry about the technical difficulty. I was like, what is happening? Okay, so let's go back to those introductions. Devon, talk to the people.
Well, hi everyone. I am Davon Felton. I'm the founder and visionary of Emerge City, which is a para church and church organization located in Brooklyn, New York.
Come on, Brooklyn. Princess.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Jenà. I am the founder of Boss Girl Believers. So we help millennials learn about money, learn about finances, and help them start and stay proficient in business.
Okay. Jessica.
Hi, everyone. I'm a Carolina girl. I am an author, an educator, a podcaster, and I'm also the founder of Release Women. It's a community where I advocate for self love, self esteem, and walking in purpose.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, my homeboy, Tori.
Hey, and the oldest person on the call. Hey, everybody, I'm Torrey. Uh, I serve as the first assistant pastor of the City of Love, Bishop Lester Love and Pastor Fran Love. I'm also the founder of Black Saved and Smart. It's a blog where we talk about social justice and issues relating to the church and spirituality through an intersectional lens, through the lens of Blackness and through the lens of academia and intelligentsia. So glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. As you all can see, we have some amazing people on tonight, and I'm just excited about getting straight into the conversation. So, for the He Said, She Said series, we're kind of talking about things that, men and women kind of have a differing opinion on. So, we're just going to jump right into it. Should your significant other have access to your cell phone? Whoever wants to jump in there first.
I want to ask this part. When you say significant other, are you talking about married? Like you're married, or you booed up? Like and this a long term? Yeah, which significant? Because what aspect of significant are we talking about?
Well, here's my thing. I think you define that. I think you define that, and you define what level um, of significance you have to be in order to, have access. If you give access, only if you give access.
Well, since you put it like that, I just personally think I'll start it off for me. But I really pondered on this question. I think if you're married, then it's.
Uh-huh.
I think that's okay. The reason why
Okay.
I always look at in the case of emergency, something may happen. Your significant other should have access to your phone. Just in case in that term. But just in the aspect we booed up or we talking or we see where this is going, no, I don't think you should have access to the phone even if we've been together for some years because really that's a deeper access of trust. Because my thing is, if
Mhm.
I'm giving you access to my phone and give you access to me, then why can't put a ring? You understand? Like I look at things like that. So I don't think if I can't put a ring on your hand, if I'm not making a commitment to you, then why am I giving you access to my phone? Like I don't think those go together. You got to be married to get the access.
So marriage is at the point of access for you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just what you say.
Um, I feel as though, I mean, I'm not married or anything like that, but I kind of agree. Like, if you're my husband, you can
Mhm.
definitely have access to my phone. However, I never want it to be a situation where I have access to your phone or you have access to my phone because I feel like I need to check behind you. Because at that point,
Mhm.
I just don't need to be with you if I
Sure.
feel like I need to go through your phone or have access. But I totally agree, like, for safety reasons, you should have some type of access. Now I
Okay.
do have like two friends. Well, my friend and my brother. Those are the only two people who have access to my phone in case of an emergency or something was to happen to me. They know they need to take my phone and do what was instructed to do with the phone. But
Erase everything.
mhm,
And
you know what I'm saying? But I think yeah, having access to my phone is fine as long as it's not because I feel like I need to go through your phone or you feel like you need to go through my phone. So yeah,
okay. So it's the purpose for you. It's the reason why you feel
yeah,
like you need access.
right, right.
Okay. So Tori Princess, jump in there.
Yeah. So, oh wait, ladies first.
Oh,
Princess.
that's okay. I really agree with what Devon was saying. Like, I feel like if we are just getting to know each other, we are not married. There is absolutely no reason for you to have access to my phone because the thing is this. It's like if that's like, I mean, we're all grown years old here, so it's like we're not just dating just to date. Like, if that's where the relationship is moving, then trust should be there from like day one. And I do
Mhm.
feel like you if you just require and need access to my phone, I feel like you have an insecurity thing and like trust is clearly like not there between us on both sides. So
Okay.
to be booed up, no. To be married, absolutely. Like it's not a thought.
Okay.
So, Alicia,
Come on, Tori.
you said we could talk, right? We,
Let's talk.
okay. So, I think the first thing is I'll define significant other as two people in a loving, committed relationship.
Okay.
They may not be married, but if I find out you went on a date with somebody else, I'm gonna be upset, right?
It's an issue.
We are in a committed relationship. Um, that said, if we are at a place where we feel like we're okay to have sex, then we should be comfortable sharing.
Okay. Come
That's
on.
good. That's
Come
good.
on.
That was good.
Because now this is important though, because if you feel like, wait a minute, I don't want you with my password. Okay, well then you shouldn't be having sex with that person
Come on.
I agree.
because your body is a more intimate thing than your phone,
Mm.
and it will always be.
Always.
And so, yeah, if you're two people in a loving, committed relationship, hopefully you're not having sex before you're married, but grown folks do what they want. If you're having sex, you should be sharing passwords.
Okay. Okay.
When you put it
Okay.
like that,
Was that
I
too
agree.
much? Was that too much?
No,
No, that was
Sometimes I
good.
get
That
in
was
trouble.
good.
no, the way you put that, I agree. Like I didn't look at it like that deep, but if we doing a thing, listen, hey, you should definitely have access.
If I'm giving you access to me,
Yeah,
Right.
me,
Right. Right.
yeah.
then certainly you can have access to my phone.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, Tori. And here's the thing for me with people having access to your phone. If we're talking about husband and wife, absolutely. But I need you to know who you are, and I need you to know you. And I'm saying that to say if you're a person that jumps to all kinds of conclusions when you see any and everything, then maybe I don't want to say maybe you shouldn't have it, but if you're that person that every time you see somebody's name stroll across your man's phone or your woman's phone, you know gonna be giving them the side eye. You need to know what you can handle. And like my mom said her aunt told her when she was getting ready to get married, if you go looking for something, you're going to find it.
Right.
Right? So your mind has already told you that something is going on. So if you go looking for something, you will see a text message about business. I knew he was sleeping with that girl. And you'll be like, I'm reading between the lines. I know when she says she's gonna pick that up from you. I know what that means. So I think we have to know who we are and be able to handle certain things. But if we are just in a basic dating and getting to know each other, at that point, I don't think it's necessary. I don't want to ever be like CeeDee Lamb's girlfriend who, he snatched that phone away from her. I mean, they came out and said it wasn't what it really was, but that felt horrible for me. So I don't know how it must have felt for her, but as soon as that she picked up that
Alicia,
phone, smashed it.
but see that this is why the conversation is important, because that is indicative of a larger issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That so the phone might be one way that it manifests itself, but I mean, if you're supposed to be home at 5:30 and you pull up at 5:33, if I have those things on my mind already, then phone access or no phone access is not going to make a difference. And if we are at a place where you feel like you can't trust me or you don't trust me, or if I can't trust you or I don't trust you, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
And I think I look at it in a deeper sense, like what the phone means to the person. Like the phone symbolizes secrets, but for this generation, the phone symbolizes everything. It symbolizes the heart. So people think that if I have access to your phone, I have access to your heart, and that is not the truth. And I think that if you go in a relationship looking for that, if he give me his password, she give me the password, then they trust me. Then you can literally, because if you're a good person, some people know how to still be sneaky. They can give you the access to the phone.
Period.
They still can hide. They still can do everything. So I think the person, like you said, like it's the deeper root. Like, why do you want access to the phone? Like, is there a reason? I don't think that if you're in a serious committed relationship, okay, there should be no problem. But what's the intention behind wanting the password that when I'm not around, you can go easily into my phone and check it? Like, if those are the intentions and the thoughts, then you need to really check yourself, that relationship, and then look. But I think the phone is really a revelation of the heart, where this generation thinks if I got access to your phone, I got access to you. And still today's time, a good liar can still hide secrets, and it won't be in the phone.
Yes, indeed. And here's my question to you all: Is something to hide the only reason not to give access? If you don't give access to your, even some people, husband and wives, don't have each other's passcode. What is if the reason is I'm private, which I know sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy when you're talking about a significant other, but I think people automatically jump to, you don't want to give it to me because it's something wrong going on, but that may not necessarily be the case. I want to give it to you. Is that okay, Princess?
I think that's okay, and I'm going to say this because at some point, I feel like in relationships, the phone becomes like a focal point and almost like a point of like control in the relationship, and it's like that in itself is unhealthy. And so, when we talk about privacy, sometimes people let's say like just marriage, let's take it to the most committed form of relationship that you can possibly be in, marriage. Okay, so even in a marriage, you share everything. You share finances, like everything. So it's like if someone feels like, I just want this one thing to myself, I trust you, I have nothing to hide. I mean, you can have the password just to say you have it, but it's like, I don't want you to check my phone and like all this, like then I just feel like, why is it that big of a deal? Like, I feel like at some point the phone, not having the password to the phone becomes a focal point of like control in a relationship. And that's not healthy.
I agree.
Okay. Speak on it, Torrey. I see you have something to add.
Yeah, because I get it. I get it. My wife and I have been married 10 years. So
congratulations.
Thank you. 10 years, April 17th. Best thing that's ever happened to me. So
come on. Hey, Elena.
There is I'm sure she's watching in the other room. There is a difference. Just because I have it doesn't mean I have to use it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it's one thing. So there is literally nothing in this world that pertains to me that I keep from her. Nothing. She has the passwords. She can open my phone with her face. I can open hers with mine. The difference is that in a there she is. Hey, girl.
There go your bride.
Yeah, the difference is in a grown, committed, loving relationship, I could say, hey, I feel like I want some privacy right now, so I'm about to go away and be on my phone for a little bit. I'll be back. And if I were to say that to Elena right now, she'd go, okay, right? Because that's marriage. That's marriage, or at least a committed relationship. So it's like having the gun, but just choosing not to fire the bullets, right? Like just because you have it doesn't mean that you're going to use it, that you're going to snoop. What giving access to her for me is indicative of me saying, I don't have anything to hide.
Sure.
If I didn't, doesn't matter. I'm what I'm sharing with you and sharing this with you. It is a demonstration that I don't have anything to hide from you. And I'll tell you right now, she doesn't go through my phone, right? Like I don't think she does. She might, but
while you sleep, no.
because she would say if I have to go through your phone, then I don't need to be
something wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's already something wrong. And women, come on. Now, I mean, I can't speak for men, but we know what's going on anyway. Okay. So we have that fire sixth sense. I don't know if men believe it or not, but it's real. If something is going wrong, even if we don't have our pulse on what exactly it is, you know, if I get to the point where I have to start going through your stuff, like you said, it's something wrong way before that. Right. But you don't need to go through a phone to know that something is awry in your situation, right? You should know each other well enough to know that if something is not right, it's not something based on what you saw on Facebook or Instagram DMs or a text message in somebody's phone. You know, that's just not how relationships, I mean, unless you're kind of in the dark, but you probably maybe not in that deep of a relationship, you know, or it might be just physical. But anyway, any last comments on that before we go to commercial break before our next? Go ahead, Davon.
I just think that I want to also put this out there. It's not only women that does this, because I think sometimes it can be portrayed. No, because sometimes, and I say this because
I think men do it more. Men do it more.
Men do it more.
So?
Yes.
So insecure.
And we may not want the phone, but we going through the Instagram, we going through the Facebook, we going through the Twitter. It is because a lot of men want to find validation, and I'm not even trying to go on this tangent, but a lot of men get in relationships to find validation from their significant other. And so they want to have that security because a lot of men, and I'm not talking from the men I'm around or the men I've spoken to, and things like that, is that sometimes we want to know that we're the only one. We have a territorial thing. It's a territorial thing. Like we want to make sure like this is ours. Like it's an ego. It's like, so I won't just say that women do it, because I think when we had this conversation, people got a one-sided perspective that, oh, women just want the phone. No, there are some men who are just like, who she texting? Like they looking with the side eye. Oh, she on Instagram too much. Like why she like, you know, they're doing all these things. So I want to put that men do it as well. And probably like Torrey said, we probably do it a little bit more than women. We're just, we word it different. Babe, my phone not working. Can I see your phone real quick? Like, can I see your phone real quick? Like we word it different to not say, I don't trust you, or to say, you know, what's she doing on her phone? Because some men get in relationships in insecurity. So,
wow.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. Let me ask y'all this. This is kind of off topic just a little bit, but let's say that you do find something in your significant other's phone. Do you address the person that they may be involved with?
Who this is?
Oh no.
No, sorry. Not. Do you message the person and be like, yo, who are you? Or do you call the person? Do you talk to them?
Wow.
No, you talk to your
other.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put the phone down, you go to them. Because they probably don't even know.
And I agree.
But wait though, okay. So since we're all in agreement, let me just present the other side. So a lot of that happened in the previous generation, probably previous 2 generations, right? Where the woman had no recourse Like the guy was like, he had a family, he had a whole nother family, like 2 blocks over, right?
Everybody knew it.
And then you find out, but there was nothing that a woman could say or do to the man at that point. And so her only recourse was to call the woman.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't it Barbara? You know. But it's different now.
Yeah.
It's different now. She make more money than me. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to check them. I'm not in relationship with them. I'm in relationship with you.
Right. Yeah. And I think that happens so often, and I don't know, never being in a situation as such, I don't know if it's emotions that make us jump to addressing the person, but somehow we feel that this person has violated us. And maybe they have if they know that you are married or in a relationship. But if they don't know, and even if they do know, still the violation is between the person that you made the commitment to. That person didn't make a commitment to you. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's okay to be fooling around with other people. I'm just saying, I think sometimes it's emotion that causes us to go to this person and, try to hit them hard and try to make it.
Sometimes it's fact finding too.
Well,
did you know that this person was married?
Right.
How long y'all been? Am I the side person, or are you the side person? Sometimes you gotta try to.
We've been together for 20 years. What?
And I think sometimes people really want to know the truth because they think the person's going to lie that they're with on why they're doing what they're doing. So they want to go to the other person and approach them like, hey, can I come with you on some like hostile? When you hostile, you speak out the truth. The old hostility comes. So I think they approach the person because let me get the truth out of you.
Right.
And see. So I go to them and approach them. I might do it's a thin line between love and hate. I may try to do a left eye, burn everything. You may try to do so many different things because at the end of the day, now I got all the facts because you may try to lie to get yourself out of the situation. So I think that's why that other generation went to the person. One, like Torrey said, like they ain't have that voice to do it in their relationship. But now also you just want the facts. Like, what's the context?
Which is why, and I'm sorry for hogging the conversation, but I'll just say this, which is why we need to be careful about who we label hashtag goals and all that stuff.
Okay, say
because,
that.
just because grandma was married for 50 years don't mean she was happy for all 50 years.
You're talking good, sir. All right, talking good, sir. That was good.
That's true. And I think a lot of times we look at other people's relationships and situations and circumstances that we don't know nothing about other than what we see on Instagram, or even like you said, we may know something about it. It may be family, but what we don't know are the details, right? And the meat of the matter. So we're like, oh, I want this, but do you really want that? Or do I want a loving, trusting, committed relationship with somebody that I build based on who we are, not based on who my mom and dad were, or grandparents? Because like you said, if Pop had a family down the street, that's not hashtag goals. Because I'm not about to play with you.
That's not. But Mom wasn't getting a divorce.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't going to divorce him. You don't divorce. And so you know what she did?
She's different now. Things are very different.
It's different, which means that longevity of relationship can't be our only measuring stick for the success of a relationship.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. And I think that is a good place for us to go to commercial break, and we will be right back with our next topic.
Join the Life Center Cathedral for Morning Manna with Bishop J. Douglas Wiley Taylor, a time of prayer and fasting. Pray with us every morning at 5 a.m. for 21 days, beginning August 1st, only on Facebook Live.
Saints of God, we want to roll over at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time and join us for Morning Manna. We are like day 11, so it's not that many more days to go. Don't have to join us every day, but if you want to join us one of those days, the Lord has been meeting us every single morning. So I encourage you, to join me at this godly hour of the morning.
You better commercial in here.
Okay, so I feel like men and women feel differently about this. especially Black men and women. Okay, saints of God. So,
Ooh, that's
Jesus.
what are your thoughts on interracial? Let's take marriage out of it. Let's say interracial relationships.
okay. So I feel very strongly about this, especially with like the climate that we have or that we're experiencing right now, not for the
Mhm.
first time, but that's sort of continued, that's just now erupting again. I want to first, there's like a lot of things that we can say, but like I want to address like the spiritual part because people
Okay.
seem to think that they're going to get to heaven and it's all going to be sections. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, you don't understand that I feel like I had my two best friends in this world are both mixed. You know, one is Black and Hispanic and one is Asian and Hispanic. So how that happened, I don't know. But I watched them be like bullied growing up because they were like mixed and they were called zebras and everything else. And I remember one day her mom told her, you know, you look more like a walking piece of heaven than what they do because it's like we're not going to be all separated. And then as far as like the other piece, we have the spiritual side of it, and then we have the other side where people feel like it's a prize to be dating someone that is outside of their race, and that to me is where I feel like our culture has not grown, or I would say specifically Black people have not grown because you know it's like you don't a person is a person, you know. So, but because you're dating someone outside your race doesn't mean that it's like oh look what I've achieved or no, you know. So
Mhm.
I think that idea, that mindset, just does not sit right with me. I do think some of that even probably goes back to slavery, where if you were fairer skinned, then you were you know, more highly esteemed. And so I just feel like we got to get our mindset just changed on what it is to date interracially, especially now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Who wants to jump in on that next?
I'll go next. So I really don't have a problem with interracial relationships. I've dated outside of my race a few times. My only issue is when someone feels as though they need to put down their own race in order to support them wanting to date outside of their race. And
Mhm.
um, I literally had this discussion like a few weeks ago with someone, and he was like, "Who told you that? Like, who said that Black guys do this?" And I'm like, society, social media. And he was like, Black women need to stop thinking that all Black men who date outside of their race are putting down Black women. I said, well, that's what we see. We see most, not all Black men who date outside their race, but
Right.
a good bit of Black men who choose to date outside of their race, they feel as though they need to put down Black women and put all in one category to support them dating outside their race. But I really have no issue with it. Like I said, the only issue is when you feel like you have to put down your own race to
Mhm.
support you dating outside of your race.
Okay. Fellas, chime in.
For me, I will start off like to say I don't have a problem with it. I think people that do have a problem with it, and I could just say it, is from generations prior. But you don't. It's like a segregation thing. Like you don't bring the black guy home. You don't bring the white girl home, or vice versa. Um, I personally believe that people that frown upon interracial relationships have a look from a cultural perspective, what culture presents, that you shouldn't date outside race because love doesn't have a color.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it. So I believe that if you love somebody, I just think that sometimes how it's displayed or the conversation about interracial relationships is discussed that makes it frowned upon. But I believe if you like someone outside your race, I have liked someone outside of my race before, and I was, but I felt weird about it. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was
Okay.
going to be judged about it
Uh-huh.
because I grew up in the hood.
Okay.
I come from a very Afro-centric family,
Mhm.
and different things of that nature. And a lot of times, mothers for men, the mama want the woman to look like her. So in that context, and so from the color, you don't look like me. So already in the mind, they ain't gonna think you ain't gonna act like me, and it
Yeah.
makes the mom feel like she failed her child, and you
Wow.
didn't fail me. You didn't fail me as a mother. because why would I want not a strong black woman? But who said that I chose her because of how she looks? What if she demonstrates the characteristics like you did? What if she demonstrates the strongness like you did? What if she displays the wisdom like you did? So I think it's also how we formulate and develop our children on how to perceive love. Having two sons of my own, my sons, I want them to basically choose whoever they feel comfortable with, who they feel happy, because this is who you have to be with the rest of your life. So I think interracial relationship or marriage, it is Bible tell, if anybody wants to be in an interracial relationship, they have to be comfortable with the controversy that it will cause and the conversation that it's going to have, but be confident in that love that they really honestly don't owe anybody an explanation. But if they choose to respond, just understand the context fully from both perspectives of those that agree or don't agree with it.
Okay.
So my answer is going to be layered because I want to be truthful to myself. Love is beautiful. Love is colorblind. All of that stuff, love who you love. I'm with it. All right. That said, I think that the conversation still needs to be contextualized because there's a few things. Number one, and let me say this also, we've been talking in generalities. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk specifically through the lens of blackness. Okay. Prophet, you're absolutely right. Generation before, don't bring home a girl who can't use my
comb.
Right? Have y'all heard? Okay. All right.
We the old people, Torrey. So just me and you.
That's what I was grew up under. That was my great.
But let me say this though, because I tried to think and approach everything critically. They didn't tell us that for no reason or because they were just hateful bigots. They told us that because it was a means of survival for us. Yeah. And so, especially with our racial climate the way it is, I just think it's very important that white folks, because I said I was going to be specific, who marry into black families, understand that you're marrying into a culture.
Yeah.
Right? You're not just, because contextually, culturally, individual black people end up representing the whole race. That one black person that did that one thing that one time, people look at them and say, look at how black people, you see what I'm saying? So you're marrying into the whole culture, which means that you have to understand that there's going to be some uncomfortable conversations, that you're going to be around some folks who say white people do some wild stuff, and you just got to sit there and take it, right? It's if we're going to bring children into this world, you have to understand that you will be raising black children.
Absolutely.
So it is incumbent upon you, not your black spouse, you to do the work, to go and educate yourselves about the plight of black people in America, about black community, all of those things. And the other thing I'll say is being married to a black person doesn't mean that you can't be racist either. Some people just kind of try to hold it up as, oh, well, I can't be racist. I got a black wife. I got a black husband. But yeah, you can still be racist. You can still fetishize. You can still do all of those things. And so, I mean, of course, the standard answer is yes, of course. Love who you love, of course. But it's layered for sure. Absolutely. And it would be unfair for us to just be like, oh, yeah, it's just a big love fest. I mean, we would love for it to be that way, but the truth of the matter is we don't live in the context that looks like that. And so as long as that person is willing to do the work and willing to educate themselves, just because she's your mom or he's your dad, if they say some racist stuff, we out. Right. And if you try to be like, no, honey, no, we out. I can't have my kids around that stuff. Like those dynamics that, when we're just talking about free love, everybody that we don't really consider. But it's very important from my perspective that all of this is contextualized within the culture that we live and that we've been given.
And I think that's why I said it's like so much. You got to be prepared for the conversation, because, like, for me, like I said, when I was in college, I liked the white girl. In my head, this is the first thing. What is my mama gonna say? What is my family gonna say?
Yeah.
What is her daddy gonna say? What is her mama gonna say? What are they view of it? So I'm having a conversation within myself. And I think, like you gotta have the conversation with each other. Like, are you ready to deal with this? People then you gotta look at your family, and y'all gotta be so strong, because there may be people that will never like that y'all are in this relationship.
Right.
And family, friends, or whatever. So I just think, like, it is okay, but don't just do it because you love each other. You have to look deeper beyond that, because your love will be tried even stronger in an interracial relationship. You have to really know that you want to be and have a deeper strength, a commitment of wisdom. It's just a lot. So I don't think it's just like, okay, oh, I like you, you like me. That's great. But let's really have a conversation, because when stuff like this that presents itself on social media of a black guy getting killed, for running down the block by a white person, what are you going to say then? What are your real feelings? It's good when it's cute and society is quiet, but when it's time to turn up, what side are you going to take? Like, these are the things that you have to look at, because if you don't, that's when your relationship going to be tried, because they may not tell you their thoughts. Their thoughts may not come until they backed in the corner. Until mama may say something slick at the gathering, and then she looking at you like, Lord, please don't let him say nothing, because he felt offended. Or they may just say the word boy, and they don't know why we reacting the way we reacting from that terminology, because it triggers something in us, right? And so I just think, like, really being in an interracial relationship, you have to dig deeper. But then, like, on the sake of the kids, you have to also prepare them to defend now also your relationship. You don't think you have to, but you do. And it just reminds me of a scene from All American when the young boy gets stopped in Crenshaw, and the young man asks Spencer asks the dad, why you never had the conversation with Jordan? He said, I thought I had more time. You don't have time. Your time stopped when y'all got into a relationship. You should have been had, because he thinks because he grew up in his neighborhood, or he's in he sees mom white and dad, that he's going to be colorblind. He's going to be more colorblind than me as a boy that's seen two African Americans, or a kid that's seen two white. That's not colorblind, because I've seen only my color. So that's why I really think you got to have the conversation for the controversy that will come.
And I think, just to add to what Torrey was saying, I feel like if you are going to be in an interracial relationship, both partners need to understand that you are signing up for a lifestyle of continuing education, so to speak, because you have literally two different backgrounds. Like, marriage in and of itself, or any committed relationship, you are merging two ways of thinking, two ways of processing, two life experiences. But when you have two separate cultures on top of that, I feel like you have to almost go into it with the understanding that I'm going to be forever learning, not just you, but like learning the culture that you have grown up in as well. And so I feel like we're not going to ignore the fact that, let's say it's a black and a white couple, that I'm black and you're white. Like, it has to be something that's addressed, that's seen, and that's out on the table from day one. And that is not something that's like fragilely talked about in the relationship. It has to be like a constant understanding that we're going to be ever learning in this.
Yeah, and I think that's important. And for me, it's intention, really, at the outset of it. It's intention. I think Tori touched on it. You marrying a black person does not erase the fact, or it does not immediately make you exempt to racism. And do you want me because I'm black? Do you want me because you want somebody with the kinky hair? Do you want me because you want somebody who wears dashikis? There was an episode of Atlanta, and two of the characters went to a party. It was an African American wife and a white husband, and he said some really sideways things.
Get out.
Get out.
Same thing and Get Out. Yep.
Yeah, it was very similar. The feel of it was very similar. And the young black girl asked the black woman, she was like, what is your deal? Like, it took her a while, but she was like, yo, what is your deal? And she was like, he wanted a black wife, and I wanted somebody who was going to take care of me and give me everything I want. So we both got our ends of the deal.
Wow.
If that's the deal you're willing to make, that's fine. But you know, go ahead, Tori, because
Yeah, I got you. And I want to back up to something Princess said too. We're going to be learning each other's culture forever.
yes.
But one thing that I think it's important to lift up is that there's not only is a strong word, but Black people in this country contextually are systemically oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only do you have to understand my culture, you have to understand my oppression.
Yeah.
You have to understand the ways in which we are systemically and institutionally oppressed.
Right.
Not only that though, you also how can I say this? You ever y'all heard about when it's like Miley Cyrus and she was like twerking and all that stuff, right? But then Trayvon Martin happens and all these things happen, and they're like, well, Miley likes to twerk culture, but don't have nothing to say when it's okay. When you are a non-Black person married to a Black person, you have a responsibility to speak up and speak out to your friends, to your family, all of that stuff, because it is incumbent upon you, not me.
Right.
To do that work. And that's very, very, very important from my standpoint, because you don't get to enjoy us and not fight with us.
Right.
You are an ally. Once you marry in, you are an ally. You have to act like them.
And even to use your privilege to protect. You know, that's a responsibility, like you said, that you incur when you say I do, period.
Or actively and intentionally put down your privilege as much as you can, right?
Sure.
As you possibly can, systemically and institutionally. But my homegirl Melissa said it best. You can't have our rhythm without our blues.
Period.
I'll say something that this provoked my brain. It is, if you're in an interracial relationship, there are some Black people who don't even know their own culture. Like there's some that are from an interracial relationship and they don't even understand their culture. And there's some Blacks who don't even understand their culture. And I think that in a relationship, especially in your interracial, you need to understand the culture regardless of the standpoint. Because at the end of the day, you can't take away your color. I can't change this as much as I try. So I think that it really takes a standpoint just as a person. Why are you doing this? I got to be honest. If I'm going to really, like, at this point in time, the climate of our culture, all right, I like you, you like me. But what's the real reason why you want to date? Like, what do you see? Like I didn't know where your head is at, because where we are now, there is no time for the tea and the tie. There's no time for if you got to realize the fight I'm going for, because I can't be in the middle of a war making sure that you don't stab me in my back. I can't be in the middle of a war making sure you help me. I haven't got time for that, because right now I'm fighting for my life. Right now I'm fighting for me and a people. Like Torrey said, if I do something wrong in your family, they ain't saying just Davon did something. They saying Black people, Black men. If I hurt your heart, your daddy gonna probably say all Black men did something and all those things. But if you do something, oh, Molly just did it, or Susan just did it. You know, that's just her. You know, this is the way she was brought up. No. At this point in time, this is the problem, because I'm going to be judged not for my name, but for my culture. I'm going to be.
Her name Miley and Susan. Prophet. Her name Miley and Susan.
Listen, listen, those are the only two common names I thought. You know, we got Becky, we got Beth. You know, we got those. I think it is my thing with people that disagree with interracial relationships. It is because they think they're disrespecting Black men or women. Let me tell you something. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but a lot of people have that perspective. If I don't date a Black woman, you know, then do it feel like I don't like? And Jessica said it. Some people, have that thought. Like, I've seen it. Some men say they don't date black women because they drama, they loud, they degrade their culture. No, like I've seen it done, but I think it's two sides of that. Like they always judge, but I don't think we should continue to do that.
The most disrespected person in America, Malcolm X said, is the black woman.
Yeah.
She's a minority on a minority. Yeah. And Kimberly Crenshaw does excellent work on this idea of intersectionality, where black women specifically don't know how to navigate whether this is sexism or racism.
Wow.
And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Me and my wife talk about it often, trying to decide which battle you're going to fight today. How do you know whether this is racist? Does this person not like me because I'm black or because I'm a woman? Or is it both? Those are the nuances that a person who marries a black woman, I mean, if I'm being honest, black men could do a better job at it, right? Of supporting sisters through what it means to be the most unprotected and most disrespected person in America. That's a major statement. And so if you are not black and you marry a black woman, that's a big piece of it. Big piece of it.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a comment that even said you can really test it like when we argue. And that's why I said before we, and I'm not saying hide your relationship. I'm not saying you want to be interracial, be sneaking around or whatever. But you got to go through a lot of more testing. I'm going to say you may need phones. You may need access codes. You may need all the whole nine. Because at the end of the day, I'm putting more on the line dating outside my race. And I'm basically going to see how you feel when we get into an argument. What do you say when I make you mad? Y'all people, you guys, like how you talk when you mad. Because, if you say the wrong thing when you mad, then I know the truth in your heart.
Right.
Yeah. And I agree completely. You just have to, to me, it's heavy. To me, it's a lot. I'm not saying that I would not marry outside of my race. I haven't dated outside of my race thus far, but I just think it's a lot. And I think both parties need to be fully prepared for not just what happens when you fell in love or when you saw something that you liked, but what this life is really about to be. And are both parties committed to that, because it's going to be a journey, and probably more of a journey than it would with somebody of your same race. It's just the way it is, especially, in America, land of the free, home of the brave. I say that tongue in cheek, but, right. Quotes. All right, guys, we're going to take one last commercial break. Then we're going to come back with our last topic. Advertise your brand or business on Churchy Chats with the Church Girl. Commercial spots start at just $5. That's right, just $5. Your brand can be seen by 1,000+ people weekly. For more information, email churchychats@gmail.com. So we're going to get right to our last subject for the evening. So I'm sure many of you have seen, it's a picture, a meme, whatever you want to call it, going around on the internet that has a man getting out of his car, right? And there is his sister, then his daughter, then his wife, then his mom. And it says, a man is returning from a long trip. Who should he greet first? What's the what's the order in which he should greet the people?
Well, truthfully, for me, one reason, if you don't want to sleep on that couch, you better go see his wife first. But no, real truthfully, I think that when a man gets married, his mother no longer becomes first. His wife becomes first. So personally, me, I think he should go to the wife first, then his daughter, then his mother, and then his sister last. That's just personally me, because his mother raised him, but no longer does he owe that. He owes that validation, that security, that honor, that I miss you first. So that for me, I think a man got in his car first. He should see his wife, then his daughter, because those are the first two women now. And then his mother, and then his sister. His sister, not like she just thrown to the wayside, but at this point in time, sis, you my sister. These are my wife and my daughter.
Okay. What are come on, talk to us, ladies. Torrey, anybody who wants to jump in?
I was just gonna say that Jessica looked like she didn't all the way agree.
So I have like two sides to this. So definitely agree that once you get married, like your mother, she comes second. But I don't know. I think as a wife, when I become a wife, I don't think I would be totally upset if my husband gets out the car, hugs his mom first, and then hugs me. My sister definitely she can come last. But I would not be mad if my husband greets his mom, because I mean she's an elder, and I'm not married, so don't beat me up. But
don't jump on you for it.
Yeah, don't jump on me. But yes, when you get married, your mother, she does come second. But in that incident, if you've been away, because I'm gonna have my husband for the rest of the night, the next couple of days, okay? Hug your mama, then hug me, hug your daughter, then hug your sister. Like I don't think I personally would not feel any type of way if he gives his mom a quick hug, then comes and embraces his woman.
Okay, wonder if it was the daughter first. Wonder if it was your baby first.
Then I would have a problem, because why you
so mama give you the love, but daughter gotta wait. God.
Only mom, because she's an elder. Like
age. You're talking about age.
Like like hug your mom and then come embrace me. Now if my daughter jumps in, she might be like her mom. Like we might just both be like a princess and a queen. Like we both want daddy attention. Okay.
My oldest daughter would fight my wife for my husband right now.
It might be like 13 and under. Then I'm like, oh, that's cute. But if you a teenager and up, you get it back up, sis. Wait for your daddy to hug your mom.
All right.
So it depends on the child's age, the daughter's age.
After a certain age, before a certain age is cute. But some mommy and daddy time after teenage something.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
You marriage and children is gonna be a surprise for you, Jessica.
surprise.
Yeah.
It'll be a surprise for you. Yeah, so but I would say, well, first and foremost, yes, wife, daughter, mother, sister, right?
Okay.
That said, I think that everything needs context and needs to be contextualized.
Yeah.
If my wife was like Jessica and was like, it's no big deal, and my mom says it's a huge deal to her, well then for the sake of the peace of my household, let's go hug my mom first. As long as if my wife is not offended, context. Like, you do your best to live peaceably among all men. Let's whatever. But for me though, the hugging of my wife first for me is more about showing an example to my daughters, right? Showing an example to my kids that as her husband, my wife is so important to me. I will move heaven and earth for her, right? As an example to them, so that they know the type of love that they need to be looking for. And then my sister should be out.
Right. Okay. Princess, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. So I feel like it should be definitely wife, daughter, mother, sister. Sister's almost like, okay, who are you? But that's fine.
How does she end up in the conversation?
House, just chilling, and he came home. I don't know. But I would definitely say the wife first. I do think that it's an interesting point about like the children's ages, because I know like just kids, they're just gonna run when they see their dad if he's coming on a long trip. Like they're not gonna think about it, So for me, that wouldn't be a big deal. But in a perfect scenario, then I would say like yes, wife, daughter, mother, sister.
Okay. So I posted this. Somebody posted this to my page, so a couple people commented on it, and somebody said, "I don't see the need to pass up anybody. I would just greet the people in the order that they
No,
are.
stop
The
it.
whoever I
Stop it.
come,
They've never been married. They've never
You
been
stop
married.
it
They've
right
never
now.
been in a relationship, significant other. They've never
nothing.
been.
They never been booed up. Nothing.
They've never been because if you are married, you know it and you listen. I'm just gonna talk for a second. My mama let my daddy walk in the house and don't acknowledge her first. God help us, Jesus. It's gonna be World War 12 up in that house. Now she ain't gonna be mad. She's not gonna be mad if you go say hi to his mother. She not because she understands the relationship. But let him go to anybody else other than her first,
that's my point.
because in her head is like, oh, you didn't miss me. Who else? It's gonna put so many things on the line. So they've never been in a married or a significant relationship. I just personally how I feel. If you just saying whoever comes to me, no, not like that.
Here's my last question. I want to end on this and ask you all this. Does saving the best for last not apply in this scenario?
Listen,
Absolutely not. And I would say that because, okay, like, I don't know. I just feel like this is your wife. Like, why wouldn't you go to her first? Like, y'all are like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just traditional, but I just feel like that has nothing to do with the scenario. You should go to your wife first.
but see, this is what I mean about contextualization. I know that we should be allowing tradition and standards of the culture to dictate to us what we should do. So what if my wife is a save the best for last person? What if she's like, hug me last because I want the longest hug?
Right, and you greet her first, then she mad.
I don't want. So am I to say to her, well, honey, you know, technically I'm supposed to hug you first? I mean, what? Like, why? What? Why? Like, it's
It doesn't apply.
But what if it's the man? The man may just genuinely miss his wife, and he wants to see her first. So I don't think I want to. It's the perspective of the person, because I won't say it's the perspective of just of culture. Because if I'm going away for a long time, then I may want to go see her first before I see anybody else.
But wait, pause, because you said it's the person, but we're married. We're one.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no person. It's us. It's us. And so if we decide that this is how we will greet when we encounter each other, then that's what we will do, regardless of the tradition or the culture or all of that stuff. If she said, do y'all know that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama at I think it was the second time or the one of those primaries, they fist bumped. They did. He did to her what most dudes do to their homies, right? And people were in an uproar, and Fox said it was a jihad, Al Qaeda thing. But the truth of the matter, it was just them doing them.
That's their relationship.
The challenge is that in marriage we cannot allow the culture, the context, the environment, the society to dictate to us what we do. We can use it for reference. We can say, oh, you know, this is how things are usually done. But the way we do it is the way we do it. And it's, quite frankly, nobody else's business. So if I want to hug the garbage man first, if me and my wife, we have an understanding of how we do things, then that's what we do.
Yeah. And I can't say that I disagree with that. I'm not married, and a lot of the saints are saying, you know, saving the best for last is not applicable in this. But I don't know. I don't know. Me not being married, it's hard to speak on it, but I'm kind of like Jessica, in that I'm going to speak on it anyway. I almost feel like I wouldn't mind being last, because for me, when you come to me, I want it to be like Torrey said. You come to me, I want the longest, I want the best, I want the you know, I want to feel, and not that you can't feel it first. I'm just saying, like, get your little preliminaries out the way before you come to mama. You know what I'm saying?
Get the appetizers out the way before you get this on.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, I don't know how I would feel in that situation, but that's how I kind of feel like I would feel. Because I just, you know, I don't know. I would have to be there, but I feel like I would be okay with being last for that reason, because I want to be the one who you get the most with. When there are people in line, I think you feel like you have to cut it short, even if you are hugging or kissing your wife. You know, if other people are waiting to greet you or hug you, you're still not maybe going to give it what, you know, you would ordinarily give it. And, you know, you hug me last and we walk away hand in hand because, you know, you threw it everybody else. And now it's me and you.
Can I say this?
I was going to add, I think, like I said, I would not be mad. I mean, again, I'm not married, but I would not be mad if my husband hugged his mom first. However, if it was a situation where my mother-in-law, where my husband is basically my mother-in-law's boyfriend because she doesn't have her own man, and we're in this constant
right.
Now that's first, then definitely I would have a problem.
Yeah, that's different.
Running to his mommy because that's basically
different.
But if I am secure in my place, and yes, my husband really did cleave to his wife when we got married, I'm not about to trip because he hugged his mommy first. Like, no.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Kind of like Torrey said, it's context.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's context, but I also think the reason why I say having been married for 6 years, you know, I look at it from marriage place, and I think it's also, so I said, it's the man, you know, of how they feel and how that relationship is, because some men, the first person they want to see is their wife. You know, they probably, you know, they may want to see the wife. So I think it is like, you know, because then I look at it in the context, like, if I'm coming in the house, I will hug my wife or whatever. My sister may come, you know, like, hey, I miss you, whatever, and give you a hug. And I may see my mom last. It doesn't mean, and I think this is something, I think Torrey had wrote it, like, does a hug signify love? You know, does it signify the way I love you? It doesn't signify that. You know, it's genuinely us knowing the relationship. You know, it's genuinely knowing the relationship between two individuals of what you have. Because I can literally give my wife the longest hug, but I can probably not stand her.
That's true.
You know, you know, there are things like that could be a face. No, and the reason why I say that is because some people put on a face. Some people put on a face. Some people, no, and I know some people put on that face. Hey, I love it. Oh my gosh, you know, and then good and well, God bless you, Jesus.
They got somebody in the inbox that they going to see, you know, who they really want to see.
They're doing it as a sense of, I want to cater to you because I know this is what you want. So I think it's really the individuals doing the relationship. But I just think that, again, like Torrey and I agree with, is like, what do we have? What is our understanding? You know, is this basically in the moment? Is this like, I don't want you to think, because I can give everybody a hug, but then one just give you a kiss. I could, you know, it could be different gestures that I'm giving to signify, hey, mama, love you. Hey, sis, you know, hey, whatever. And then I see my wife, you know, we going at it. And it's like, y'all get a room somewhere. You understand? It's those different kind of things. So I think it is the relationship, but it's also how the man at that present moment, you know, like, where's his head? Like, you know, how is he trying to say hi to everybody so he can deal with her? Or is he want to just like, I want to see her first because I missed her, and then I want to see everybody. It's so that's how I look at it.
I know we have to go. Can I drop this in real quick?
Drop it in.
So when my wife and I do counseling for people who are about to get married, I say this, you know, society and even family and even your parents and all that stuff, they can give you advice, they can give you their perspective, but the only thing I can learn from my dad about being a husband is how to be a husband to my mom. When I'm married to my mom, he can give me advice, he can give me things to think about and stew over. But if my mom is somebody who values a clean house, and my wife is somebody who values quality time, my dad will tell me, make sure that the house is
clean.
And my wife will come in and go, well, you're cleaning, but you're not sitting next to me. So,
yeah.
Right? And so my point, I say that to say, like, let's all couples, let's not allow society and culture and family and friends to dictate to us, to require and mandate, you have to do this, you have to do that. Because really and truly, your relationship is your own. And whatever y'all come to, whatever y'all talk about, however y'all come to, y'all are there. The second thing is, I'm sorry, you about to say something?
That's so good.
And the second thing I'll say is, if I've been gone for a long time, I don't need no 5-second hug from my wife.
Right. And that's that. And that's that.
Let the church say amen. Praise the Lord.
Amen. Amen. Listen, guys, I appreciate you all being on so much. This has been a great conversation. I hope every one of you will come back, because I'm going to invite you back to have more fruitful and fun conversations. Before we go, tell people where they can find you on social media, how to connect with you, Davon.
Well, everybody can connect with me on Instagram at I am Davon, Davon L Felton on Instagram, or you connect to me on our church Facebook, which is Emerge Nation, or on YouTube at Emerge City. So those are where you contact with me or connect with me.
Okay, make sure you all connect with them. Princess, where can we find you, honey?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at bossgirlbeliever, and you can also visit my website, bossgirlbeliever.com.
All right. Jessica.
Okay, so y'all can follow me on Jessica Jenà, and Jenà is Jena, Jessica Jenà, or my Release Women page, which is Release Women.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, where can they find you, Torrey?
Of course, Black Saved and Smart everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those things. And of course, go to my website, blacksavedandsmart.com. We have new blogs that go up every Friday. Some very, very, very touchy, controversial church subjects that we examine critically.
All right, so make sure you all check them out. And to my guests, you all hang on just 1 second. We're going to chat backstage. But to our viewers tonight, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We will be right back here next week for the third week of the He Said, She Said series. I am super excited about it. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on Facebook.com/A Church Girl. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next week.